Alright, and welcome back everyone. We are transitioning towards the Mega Man block, and we have with us today ZELLLOO with us for the commentary. Welcome. How are you doing?
I'm good, Pigeon. Hi, everyone. Anyone who doesn't know me, I'm ZELLLOO or ZELLLOO. Doesn't matter. However you say it, there are 5 billion different ways to say it. I will be your commentator for the upcoming Mega Man runs.
Well, as for my part, I will take every single L and every single O into account myself.
It is a lot. It's hard to count to 3.
It is.
I know, because even I will misspell it every once in a while.
Oh yeah, we mostly we are able to count to 2, and then after it's kind of tough. We don't see those often. So you did take part in the past towards RTA in Japan as well, but not on Mega Man. I think it was like a.
I actually did. Last year I did Mega Man Network Transmission. That was a very interesting block last year, because last year it was Mega Man Network Transmission by me, and then we also had an X7 100% run right after. I think that is the most bizarre Mega Man block I've ever seen in a marathon.
I see.
But yeah, I did Network Transmission last year. Was very happy with that run. Big shout outs to my commentator, Jagumba, because he did a fantastic job. It's hard to commentate that game and play at the same time, so I'm glad he was there. But I wanted to pay back the community here and be able to commentate for the Mega Mans, because this actually falls at a good time for me, because I'm a night worker.
Oh, they actually got to clear the minigame. I didn't see this animation before.
Oh, that's cute.
Nice.
Like, can we take like a little bit of appreciation for all the great art and everything the RTA in Japan staff like source out and do? Like, the presentation's always fantastic.
Yeah, it's always nice to see that this tradition can always evolve throughout the events. And nowadays, they've also added a small a social post on the side showing the fan arts of all the people that appreciate the event.
Absolutely. Like, staff have always been like very, very accommodating, and they are just like some of the most creative people around. They're also some of the funniest people around.
Yeah, like one of the early fan art that I've seen this year was the learner who played the trash can game. And he did a fan art of his game with the current transition layout. Just having the big trash can onto the earth.
Oh lord.
Quite the special run to have at that point. It does look like we will be beginning very soon the run.
Yeah, so I will go ahead and take it away right here. I'll give you a quick overview. So this is Mega Man Maverick Hunter X. This is a PSP remake of Mega Man X1 done on the PSP about 20 years ago. So this is a neat little remake. A lot of things will be the same, a lot of things will be different. And what's different about this is we're going to be playing Vile Hard 100% as the category. Going to be ran by tarisuman right here. Fantastic run of this game. Probably knows the most about this game for Vile. So Vile mode is an unlockable mode after you complete the original the game with X. Vile being one of the antagonists. But we get a little non-canon playability right here. And basically we're going to go through that game on hard difficulty, which amps up quite a bit with extra enemies, extra attacks, extra damage. And we will be doing 100%, which is going to cover getting all of the heart tanks and sub tanks to complete our inventory. Also, big shout outs to the extra cutscenes and such added. Like, we have these really nice anime cutscenes that were added in this remake. Really helped out the presentation here.
It does look like they added like a kind of backstory to X, since I don't remember seeing at least this cutscene.
So there actually is a set of cutscenes called, I believe it's the Day of Sigma, and this kind of details what happens leading up into X1, where, spoilers, Sigma becomes the baddie because he ends up getting the virus from Zero. So it's a neat little mini series. It is kind of an alternate continuity. so it's not canon, but it is pretty neat. But it looks like tarisuman's going to go ahead and get started here. So Vile, or VAVA is known in Japanese, we're going to be playing hard, doing 100%, like I said, and then we will get started right after that. It's going to be a fun time right here.
Also on commentary, we have Bobson, which I think is also a good Mega Man runner as well, in general.
Yes, absolutely, yes. Alright, so Vile plays quite a bit different from X in some respects, so we actually have 3 different attacks for Vile. You have an arm attack, a shoulder attack, and a leg attack that all use the energy that you can see drain and refill. So a lot of the weapon management is pretty difficult here because of, like, you have a lot of options. Oh, unfortunate death right off the bat. Hey, we gotta get the fun one right off the bat. Hits aren't the only thing that take Vile down to 0 HP really instantly, though. Vile has very, very low defense, and you die very easily in this mode, especially on hard. So there's going to be a lot less damage boosting, and a lot of just fighting to get around enemies. We will get more heart tanks, so we will be able to upgrade our HP and be able to take more, and we will get an upgrade that reduces damage. But early on, especially, we are very defensively weak. But you can see Vile, you can see tarisuman using a lot of Vile's different attacks right off the bat. We have like the Cherry Blast is our Vulcan right now, which we can use arm attacks while we're moving. We can't use shoulder attacks or leg attacks while moving, though. But our current leg attack right now is the Bumpity Boom, which are really, really nice grenades, and it's like some of the strongest attacks in the game. And then we have just the Front Runner Cannon and as our shoulder weapon. And the Front Runner Cannons, all the cannons are useful because you can aim them at like 30 or 60 degree angles or straight ahead. So Vile has a lot of attack options. It's just getting around enemies to start until we can get some defensive upgrades to make things a little bit easier. Unfortunately, Vile also does not have a dash ability like X does, so we have just basic movement. And that is why after this stage we will go into Storm Eagle to start, because we will get something from that. So we do have this intro stage. We had the boss fight, fighting against X. In X1, the fight would automatically end after you got to low HP. This is not the case in Maverick Hunter X. You do need to actually defeat the boss, or you will die. There's no auto trigger, so just get rid of them with some grenades and we're all good right there.
とりあえず最初のことをねちょっと見なかったことにしていただいて、これからのね走りをちょっと見てくださいということでお願いします。
So, like I said, we're going to go to Storm Eagle first right here. Storm Eagle gives the Speed Devil upgrade after defeating him, and this increases movement speed, which, being a speedrun, we want to go as fast as possible. So, it is definitely the thing we go for first, so we can just have it for the rest of the game right here. So like I said, for 100% we need to get the 8 heart tanks and the 4 sub tanks. There's a heart tank in every of the 8 main stages, and then 4 of those stages also have a sub tank. And this stage conveniently has both. So we're going to be picking those up along the way here. And we're going to do some very small damage boosting where we can. Like I said, Vile takes a lot of damage right now, but some enemies do still do pretty minor amounts of damage, and we can use those to damage boost by taking a hit, and we have vulnerability frames for a little bit where we can walk through other enemies without being damaged or taking recoil. So that's going to be a lot of the movement for now until we get better tools to be able to attack enemies. So the heart tank is up top right here on top of this building. Pretty similar to where the sub-tank is in X1 normally. So the general layouts in this remake are similar, but items and such are shuffled around. So we have to kind of go back and forth. So we are getting a ride armor as well. Still very useful like it is with X in base game or remake. We're going to detonate the ride armor right here to actually be able to reach the secret passage and get a sub-tank. Sub-tanks, for those who don't know, if you collect extra health past your max HP, then that extra health gets stored in your sub-tanks and you can use them basically as life refills. So, good if we need to get out of line during, say, a boss fight. So the rest of the stage is pretty straightforward here. We're starting with Storm Eagle not only just for the movement, but even if we didn't need just the extra movement ability we get here, he's one of the easier fights to manage with no weapons. So we're going to try and use our grenades as possible on Storm Eagle when he's charging. Otherwise, we'll probably go for some cannon shots right here. So tarisuman does need to be careful because he is on low HP. And we also don't have a dash, so we can get pushed off the edge if we're not careful and die instantly. It's really good tight dodging right there. Not easy without a dash ability. Not getting the best pattern though. Like, you want charges from him. Like, RNG luck is a huge factor in what attacks you get and how much time you end up wasting. But we had a nice clean Storm Eagle fight, so congrats to tarisuman for a good fight right there. So like I said earlier, we get the speed double upgrade from this. This upgrades our movement for the rest of the game, and it's actually a pretty significant boost. So it's worth going for this. Also, every time we defeat a boss, we actually do get different weapons. So like I said, we have a leg, a shoulder, and a arm weapon, and we can change those out with different parts depending on what bosses we've defeated. We don't have anything that we want to change out yet, but it's just something to keep in mind for now. So now we go into Chill Penguin stage next. This has the other useful upgrade that we want to get. We want to get the Frozen Castle upgrade from defeating Chill Penguin, which reduces damage by half for the rest of the game. So that'll pretty much take care of our HP problem here. We do want to do some more damage boost, so I think tarisuman's going to get this little secret health room right here, pick up these capsules, and be able to just damage up and not have to deal with enemies so much. Some really tight movement around. It has been a long... Go ahead.
They're getting a little bit stuck on the wall.
Yeah, so it's very possible to get stuck in the walls, and especially in this remake. It's been a long time since I've actually played this remake, but I do remember casually getting stuck a little bit. It's a little more sticky than it used to be, and that's okay. Really good use of grenades right there to be able to clear out enemies below them. To get the heart tank in this, we do need to get the right armor first. There's one right over here on the very right. And right armors are a little bit changed for Vile. They kind of work on kind of like a battery life system where you have a limited amount of time until that battery runs out. And if you take hits, the battery does time down a little bit faster. So we'll get that heart tank out of that igloo right there. Right armor being very useful, being able to dash, and also just getting a ton of firepower. The Vulcan is very good at clearing out the basic enemies. So we're just going to take this one all the way to the end of the stage here. So health looks like it's in a pretty okay spot. The thing about hard, though, is that bosses, I think some of them, or if not all of them, actually do gain an extra attack. And the one we don't want to see is the ice spikes that hit the wall because they split off. Very difficult to dodge. So we're just going to hope we get some good luck here. Don't have to worry about that as much. Yeah, that's the attack we don't want to see right there. Otherwise, it's pretty standard how it is in base X1, Chill Penguin, otherwise not being a huge threat. Sliding, unfortunately, does cause iframes, so we don't want to see that. But good use of the cannon right there. So the cannon has another feature as well, to where if you spam the cannon in midair, you can kind of glide and stay in place for a little bit every time you fire. So that is good for some movement options. So, nice clean Chill Penguin fight right there.
But it also does have like very long damage frames.
Mm-hmm.
Alright,
so we're going to Spark Mandrill next. So we're gonna... Uh-oh, I think we actually forgot to do a weapon change right here. We might exit the stage to go back to do it, or we might just have to do it altogether, because we were supposed to change to Distance Needler, which is an arm weapon. Yeah, it looks like we're gonna exit out real quick and come back in. So at least we can do that, which is a nice quality of life feature. So the more bosses you defeat, the more weapons you have access to. There's a memory system where you can only equip a certain like combo of weapons up to a different memory values. So for now, that's not a big issue since we're only changing to the Distance Needler, which is a really good arm weapon for now. But that will come into play later with what tarisuman chooses to take. So just like in base X1, since we played Storm Eagle first, this area is all dark and the electric hazards are removed. So this is the routing is pretty specific for the stage order. in terms of what we want out of it, so we have less to deal with in the stages. Distance Needler being a really, really good weapon here, does a ton of damage, and it also pierces enemies. So it's really good at just hitting a bunch of enemies in a row at a very low cost and high power. And it's also going to be useful on the boss coming up. It is effective. There is a heart tank coming up after the right armor. We can just kind of abandon the right armor and get a higher jump. Very nice right there. The rest of the stage is pretty straightforward, thankfully. Where possible, we do want to avoid climbing up ladders. Climbing up ladders in every game is very slow, and it's kind of a nice recurring meme in every Mega Man game to skip a ladder wherever you can. Specifically in X games, we can gap jump where possible, and we kind of grab the tops of walls and kind of kick our way up instead of climbing. So Distance Needler does 6 damage per hit on Mandrill, and bosses in this game have 32 HP, so he'll go down in just a handful of hits. It's worth it despite the long invincibility frames. Actually, the invincibility frames on Mandrill aren't too bad, all things considered. There are definitely longer periods with some bosses, so a nice, easy kill. So tarisuman having a very solid run overall so far. It's been going nicely.
Are there any bonus secret items that are locked behind abilities that you collect from enemies?
We just have the weapons from the bosses. Unfortunately, we don't get anything super specific like the Hadouken for X. So, unfortunately, Vile can only collect those weapons from the bosses and then the sub-tanks and the hard tanks, nothing else extra.
But those could be collected at any times.
Yes. So we have Armored Armadillo next. So we did change our weapon out to the Go-Getter Right. This is one of the punch weapons for the arms. So it has good power, and it kind of comes back like a boomerang. And it's also effective against Armored Armadillo. We do try and match up boss weaknesses where possible. So that's a lot of picking in the routing of the weapons. It's also good. Like, nothing also feels quite as good as just punching a robotic flamingo in the face. Would you say?
Yes, for sure.
Unfortunately, there's just no minecarts to ride for Vile, which is a little bit of a disappointment because it would be nice to just go through this a little bit faster. But poor Vile just has to kind of walk his way through. The heart tank has moved past this minor cart right here. It's actually moved to the very end of the stage where the Hadouken capsule would be. So we're gonna have to do a little bit of platform navigation at the very end. HP is still in a good spot right here, so he's looking pretty safe. Also good use of the bombs right there to just kind of lock yourself in place vertically and be able to grab some platforms a little bit sooner than you would normally be able to. The Rico almost knocking him back off there, thankfully just being able to grab on. Like, it's thankful that in X games you can grab the edges of walls. In Classic, you're not as fortunate. Very nice stage overall. We're gonna pray that Armored Armadillo does not do a whole bunch of rolling around because he is invulnerable during that. And I have seen many runs lose so much time to this over and over. So the punch is effective against him, doing, I think, 6 damage a hit here. So hopefully he just keeps trying to do shots. Okay, got another roll. Not the absolute worst here. Yeah, 2 rolls is fine.
いや、ボスも結構良かったですね。まあ、そうですね。ちょっと最後の体当たり苦手だったんですが、まあ、体力があったおかげでなんとかなりましたね。そうですね。いやいやいや、ここからね、ここからはやっぱ武装が揃ってくるとその分。
So finally got to see some spikes, which I was surprised that for the first 3 stages were absolutely no spikes in a Mega Man game.
Yeah, there's like surprisingly less spikes in X1 than other games now that you mention it, aside from a certain boss. But we're going to Flame Mammoth next. I didn't see if he did a weapon change because Bang Away Bomb is what I saw in his PB that he would like to use here, which is a good fire grenade for a leg weapon. And since we did Chill Penguin earlier, the factory is frozen here, so we can avoid all of the lava traps and everything. So we're going to take this right armor as far as we can, especially since we kind of need it to get a boost up to the heart tank up here.
ライドアーマー2段ジャンプでのライフアップ取得ができなくなってしまうんですよね。大きく遠回りするの
And
で
that is the only upgrade we will collect in this stage, so it's pretty much just running to the end, so nothing too big in this level.
はい、ロケットパンチで倒していきました。ここまで振り向いて当てる。うまい、いいですね。さあ、ここベルトコンベヤーを歩いて進んでいきましょう。
So we do need to get close to Mammoth coming up.
そしてボスの最後のエリアですね。
He's normally a pretty trivial boss coming up, but he does do a lot of contact damage, and the room is not as big as it is in X1. So we have to be, Tarisuman's going to have to be very careful to just avoid attacks while being in a very more enclosed space than you'd normally see in the base game.
なんですけれども、威力ですね、結構食らいますバンナーウェイボムなんですけれども、これがね、転がっていくんですよ。連続ダメージをしてくれるので、はい、こんな感じで適当に打ってれば適当に当たってくれるんですよね。まあ別に自分がダメージを食らってもその後隙がないので、こんな感じでダーってやってれば。
So very, very clean movement right here to just weave around those flames. A good fight right there.
さあここで次ですね。ここからの2ステージですよね。頑張りたいところが。
まあ、そう
In stage. Only one damage taken need as well on the boss.
はい。
Mhm.
まあ、
はい
死ななければいいかな。
そうそうですね。まあここはね。
Alright, 5 bosses down, 3 to go, so we're gonna do some more weapon changes here. We're definitely changing over to Fire Moraine for our cannon, for our shoulder weapon. So we got some short-range exploding shots, and it can do chain reaction hits, so it's quite useful against some of the enemies here. And it's also effective against Launch Octopus.
食らい抜けを多く使うので無駄なダメージは厳禁でございます。
But we do have some mini bosses to fight here. The fishes have a lot of health to deal with coming up, so we're pretty much just going to damage boost towards them so that we can keep our weapon energy high.
ここね食らいたくなかったんですけれども、この後中ボスがいるんですが、ここをね食らって後ろに回って倒すんですね。
We're just going to get behind this one and just kind of spam and just barely knock it out before we have to like do a long recharge period. Now we do have to do a secret area in order to get access to one of the items here. So after this second fish, we are going to destroy a boat right above us. So we're going to wait right up here for this cyclone to push us up. But I always thought this was like one of the neater secrets in X1. Like you sink the ship and it actually breaks the floor right below you. And allows you into the secret area with a snake to fight.
頭と尻尾落ちながらジャンプしながらしっかりと連続で荒れていきまして最速周期で倒す
We can hit either the head or the tail. Both are viable weak points here. Grab the heart tank and be on our merry way.
この先ですね会場ギリギリにあるので坂を登って
And this stage and each of the remaining stages all have a sub tank to grab. So we're going to get the one right here. Very, very tight jump to make.
オッケー取れたいいですね
Gets it second try, nice.
中ボス最後でございますまたね
And then another boss snake that we need to kill before the camera stops locking.
ここはそうですね体力が厳しいので
Punching doing a really good job with the damage here.
少し多めに雑魚敵を倒しましてからはいオクトパラド戦でございますはいポイント
Alright, Launch Octopus is pretty scary. The missiles combined with the high damage makes this pretty much a damage race. And since we're using a cannon for the weakness, Tarisuman's going to have to aim very carefully. Because remember, you can aim at 0, 30, or 60-degree angles. But Launch Octopus just kind of goes everywhere. And this is also the worst attack. We don't want to see the Cyclone, because he's also invincible during that. So thankfully not much of a threat in terms of damage taken, so clean. And we would rather have a very alive Vile than in exchange for a little bit of time taken.
さあ、一つ目の難所を超えたところで次です
I
ね。
like that at the end. It's like kind of maniacal laugh.
はい、腕武装、ロケットパンチのさらに攻撃力の
Vile's just having a good time. That's all we can say.
ため息一つつきまして、さあやっていきましょう。
All right, going to Boomer Coanger here. I think we switched over to Hummer's Crush for missile stuff. It's a very efficient weapon in terms of energy use, and also effective against the boss. This is also the only stage that we will actually have to revisit because we cannot get the sub-tank on our first visit here. We actually need Boomer Coanger's weapon for that, like one of this specific weapons. So we'll grab the hard tank here, we'll beeline it for the boss, and then we will do a revisit after. So there is going to be some very careful damage boosting in a few places to be able to just boost past more enemies on these ladders. Or around the turtles. The turtles do a little bit more contact damage, so we want to avoid them where possible. So a bit of an auto-scroller right here. We can get up higher, but unfortunately, the camera does not unlock to be able to let you move right until the elevator reaches a certain point, so we're just going to clear out some enemies here. Maybe get some free power-ups out of it. Extra health is always useful. And a couple static pickups right here. This will help fill the sub-tanks in case we have an emergency and need to use a sub-tank later for extra health. So grab the hard tank there. Wait for the elevator to reach the top. And we can be on our merry way. And I do love in this game how, especially this stage, I feel like really keeps the feel because like everything in this game, in this remake, is like rendered in 3D as opposed to all the sprites done in the original X game. But everything here just feels right for me in terms of graphics. So one last climb before we get up to the boss fight right here. Now, Boomer Coanger we're going to be able to actually manipulate by retreating to the top corner between hits so that we can manipulate his attack. He'll try and attack us, and we'll just kind of loop him over and over if tarisuman does it right. Now, this actually isn't the attack I was expecting to see, but this also works. This might actually be a little bit faster than the other one. Very nice and clean.
いや、まあちゃんと一発で決められてよかったです。
よかったよかったよかった。なんですが、このステージもう一回。
All right, well, with Boomer Coanger down, we do get access to his weapons, and with that, we're going to equip the quick homesick. It picks up items like a boomerang, like boomerang cutter would for X. So this is actually needed to get the sub-tank in this stage. So we're just going to pick that up and then immediately leave after that. So Pigeon, if you have anything you want to plug or any announcements, this is the perfect time.
Oh, well, let's see. I actually have not prepared the text for this.
Well, we can always shift to something else.
Yeah, we can just be doing some nerdy talk.
Yeah.
Let's see. Well, let me take a look at like potential incentive nearby. Let's see. There's one for the Pokemon later on. Oh, just for choosing the name. There's one for Donkey Country just after this block. Let's see. Oh, there's the incentive for a time attack mode for a level. A level after finishing the run of Donkey Kong Country Returns. Oh no, I do have a question. Are there some of these Mega Man games now available on Steam as well?
I don't believe this one is, but there are many legacy collections that are available on Steam and modern platforms, and you can play a lot of the originals that way. They're very good ports as far as I know. I still have my old ports from like PS2 and such, so I haven't bothered buying them, but I've heard that as a whole they're very easy ways to run games, especially some of the more portable ones like ZX and ZX Advent. Very, very accessible.
Does it also include the whole X saga as well?
Yeah, it'll get you the whole thing. Alright, so we picked up the sub-tank right there. We'll just leave and head to Sting Chameleon. So this is going to be our last main stage right here. So we're going to change over to Distance Needler, I think, again. Still very useful here. So the hard tank in this one is actually deceptive. It's actually right here at the very beginning of the level. So we're just gonna, tarisuman is just gonna fire the quick homesick and instantly pick it up. It's very funny. Oh, it's just right here at the beginning of the level, just hidden behind the tree. We will use the quick homesick one more time in the cave coming up. There is a sub tank that we could climb up to, but why do that when we can just use a boomerang to pick it up for us? It is a little bit of a tricky position right there, but he got it first try. Very nice.
でこういうことができるんですよね。でこの木、これを破壊するためにディストランス
The rest of the stage here is pretty straightforward.
がないとあの鳥をきれいに倒す
Well, there's something big to plug in then, since this is pretty straightforward, is that both of the Mega Man X collections are available for 16% off on Steam for anyone interested in the series.
Yes, you should definitely get that if you're interested in this game after you've donated to Doctors Without Borders.
割って縦兵を倒したらボスが見えてまいります。はい。でこのボススティングカメリオですね。
Alright, Sting Chameleon coming up right here since this was a pretty straightforward stage here. He could be looped with boomerangs just like in the original game, so we should see a pretty easy fight, assuming no positioning problems. I've always loved the unique animations in X1 and X2 for bosses coming in. Like, those are so nice to see. So Sting Chameleon likes to retreat to the ceiling every time. We're just kind of loop him back and forth here. And a nice easy fight. And so we have all of our items for 100%, all 8 heart tanks and all 4 sub tanks. So all that's left is to just play through the Sigma stages. So for Vile, there's only going to be 3 Sigma stages. We do not play 4th, unlike X. And interestingly, in the remake, the stages are actually quite a bit different. They're shuffled around with completely new layouts, somewhat kind of similar in places, but as a whole they're very shuffled around. So this first one, instead of like scaling the cliff like we would in X1, we're actually going to be kind of going through a moat, which I think is a cool design choice. So I think we changed out weapons here. For our leg is going to be Burning Drive for now. It has a good quick area of effect with a large range. It's good for Chill Penguin. We changed our shoulder back to Fire Moraine to use on Launch Octopus. And the arm should be Lost Lamb, I believe, for a long-range missile, which is oddly effective against Boomer Coanger despite getting it from him. The refights are all shuffled up first as well, so Launch Octopus is first here. So we just kind of quickly out-damage him.
はいですがね、できればね、ゲートの近くで終わりたかったんですよね。まあ体力がある程度残ってるからいいでしょう。さあここから。
Hopefully we'll be able to see Burning Drive through this next area to kind of get rid of enemies quickly. Or it looks like we actually stayed with the one of the other weapons. Looks like we had forgotten to change weapons, and we didn't realize it until now. So we're gonna make the change now. We'd actually forgotten to change our arm weapon here. Like, menuing is hard. Menuing in a Mega Man game when it's not in like a pause menu is actually hard to remember. So it's okay. It's not a huge time loss to restart from where we were. And you get to see the stage again. It's a cool stage. Also, lots of spikes. We didn't see enough spikes earlier, so we're making up for it now. I kind of wish we had those more Vulcan, like, those more rapid Vulcan ride armors in later games, because those are so good.
この次のボス、まあぶっちゃけ最速で倒せないだけで、まあぶっちゃけね。
But you could just destroy everything with those weapons in the stage, and you're so invulnerable to spikes.
Alrighty, now we should be able to get through this next room, now that we have the proper weapon on our arm.
こちらなんですけど、クワンガーに打ち込むとものすごいダメージが入るようになって16ダメージでしたっけ確か。大量ダメージが入るんですよね。で、8ダメージですね。8ダメージが。はい。
So we also have Burning Drive on our leg right here.
大幅な短縮ができる予定だったんですけれども、ちょっとね、まあそこが。
Good to be able to just kind of knock stuff out and just kind of hover in place for a bit as well. It's a very vertical room, so it's neat to see the movement here. Little trouble having that gap jump right there. That one's deceptively small. So I believe I have Boomer Coanger coming up right here. So it's pretty much just going to be a missile spam to get it past him. We'll use a burning drive to start the fight. Looks like we're going to stick with burn fight. Oh, unfortunately taking a death right there. Just couldn't get the spacing there. And unfortunately the checkpoint is all the way at the bottom of the room, so we will have to scale this area again.
EST42 分ですから大丈夫です。間に合います。はい。で、あとね、ちょっとね、解説が漏れてしまったんですけれども、ここでですね、ショートカットをしてるんですね。
Thankfully, the weapon energy management at this point is not so bad to deal with because we do have a lot of max weapon energy, and it does recharge pretty quick for Vile. So it's not too bad to change between weapons as needed depending on the situation.
一個一個丁寧にいきましょう。はい。
He's been having a bit of trouble managing the iframes to try to skip through a couple platforms.
Yeah, it's tricky depending. Like the jumps here are very specific, and if you're off by even just like a couple pixels, you're not going to make that jump, and you have to reset your iframes. So, take 2 on Boomer Coiner here. Looks like we're just going to go for Burning Drive. And use 1 missile to finish him off. Like the missile does a whole lot of damage on him, but it's probably a long iframe time, so it ends up being better damage per second to just spam Burning Drive. Trying damage boost through that room. Got through mostly clean. All we have left in this is Boss Spider, who's thankfully a bit slower in this version compared to base X1. So Boss Spider will trace different paths and then go straight down between every path and take a turn where it can. So it is going to be a bit random. Thankfully Burning Drive being a very effective weapon for taking its HP down. So hopefully we'll get some fast patterns and not have to worry too much about it dropping on top of us. Boss Spider will start dropping spiders as well when its HP is low, but thankfully Burning Drive takes care of them really easy. One more cycle should be good. We've got plenty of HP. A very nice fight.
さあこれにてボススパイダー撃破でございます。次もねまた3つ変えるからちゃんと1個ずつ変えましょう。そうですね。はい。
Alright, since we have several more boss refights coming up, we should be changing our weapons out again. I think the ideal situation here was Wild Horse Kick for our leg. Shoulder will get Cerberus Phantom, which is a laser that we would get from Sting Chameleon, and we'll change our arm to Golden Right for a really good punch. So now we're in the caves instead. We're going to pick up a right armor. We're going to carry this to our first boss fight once we can.
岩なんですけれどもヒット数で破壊できるのでこのライドアーマーのガトリングだったりとかさっきの火炎放射ですねヒット数が稼げるときそのために必要だったんですね
Just plow right through those walls with the Vulcan. Just, like even with the time it takes to like get into the right armor, it's well worth just having the dash and everything. So we got Armored Armadillo first. We should be able to kill him in 3 punches here because the Golden Right is just an absurdly powerful weapon against him. Starting off the roll here, a little annoying. And getting another roll immediately, so this is not good luck, unfortunately. Okay, at least we got the no roll on the 3rd hit.
理想ではないですけれど、まあねいいパターンでございます。こちらができる動きとしては一番いい手を取りました。
So we decided to actually pick up a little bit of X1 Sigma 1 here. We're actually going to have the cliff climb, and we're going to try and just stay on the right here, avoiding these platforms, as it's a little bit easier to just climb straight up from here. It is a little tricky with the spacing though, so but manages to get up okay. Storm Eagle right here. So Cerberus Phantom can actually hit with multiple beams because it fires 3 at a time. If tarisuman can get close enough, he can hit with multiple beams and get a whole bunch of damage in like that first hit. Oh, just barely missed that laser on the last one. So I had to wait for some dashes, but the first 2 hits were very solid there.
さあ次ですねちょっと短いエリアを進んでいきます暗いところを進んでいくのでそうですねはい次に出てくるのは誰かお分かりでしょう
And after this short little section we do have Spark Mandrill coming up. The punch just has a high base damage to begin with, so despite not having a weakness here, we're just going to just punch him out. We're going to play punch out with Mandrill. He's going to try and punch us, we're just going to punch him first.
でこれね、この距離が近いところでのパンチはめはジャンプで結構避けないといけないので怖いんですが、そう裏に回ってできれば右側のゲートに近いところで倒しきりたい。近すぎるのは怖い。
Thankfully, Mandrill's pretty slow, so we can just kind of get away from him.
上に登ってるがそこは迎撃。オッケーオッケーオッケーオッケーオッケー。
I think that's like the most insulting thing is to like punch him in the toe to finish him off.
もう逃げ場なくなっちゃってるんですよね。
そうなんですよね。あそこジャンプで受けるとすると結構タイミングシビアなのでしっかり
All right, with our refights done, we've got one last fight here. So we do have Rangda Bangda coming up, who's always a little scary. We need to deal with his two eyes as well as his nose. And when both eyes are destroyed, the walls permanently close in. We have a spike pit in the middle, so we want to finish the fight as soon as possible after defeating the eyes, so that we don't risk falling into the spikes and instantly dying. So we're going to be trying to be hovering with Cerberus Phantom here. So eyes are gone. Hopefully we'll be able to get this kill. Oh, unfortunately dropping right onto the spikes there, right before he could fire the second shot.
ちょっと新しいやつやろう
You
と
just
して
slipped away. That's bad.
I think I jinxed it. We're going to say that's marathon luck, but I'm going to say I cursed it. That's my contribution to the Mega Man block. So the different color eyes also do different things, and unfortunately green is not what we wanted to see. Red and green, so green is not ideal because it stays in place. It's hard to hit. It does not want to be hit. I have never seen it dodge so hard.
まあ慣れないことはしないように気をつけましょう。
Even in base X1, like, I have never seen that happen. Wow.
You just wanted to say peekaboo once in its life.
Look, we got to see all three eyes and a nose, and considering humans only have two eyes, you got 50% more content out of that. That's how I'm going to justify it. Alright, so our last stage here, so Sigma 3. So we changed our leg weapon out to a territorial POW. We have it does some very fast exploding energy balls, so very good on Flame Mammoth. And we did change our shoulder weapon, I think, to Parasite Sword, which is a really good other laser weapon. So we're going to start with the Chill Penguin refight. We're just going to punch him to death. Parasite Sword does have a nice effect where it can destroy other projectiles, so we can use that as needed to stay safe here. Oh, unfortunately getting frozen. Manages to break out in time. And we can use Parasite Sword to kind of get a damaged hit there, a ranged hit.
そうこれやってほしくないのよだからそれをで今パラサイトソードっての打ってるんですけどこれが
Might be able to kill, yep, kill with one more punch right there, very nice.
迎撃して撃破することができましたまあちょっとまあパターンは何とも言えないところでしたね今のはさあ次行きましょうで先ほどちょっと説明しましたテリトリアルパウですねこれが
So the in-between parts between the bosses are kind of just packed with enemies here. So just kind of just take the path of least resistance where we can. So Sting Chameleon is next. We will try and use Parasite Sword against him. It's a little difficult to hit him at some angles, but you don't want to be directly under him. So you are kind of at risk of getting hit by some attacks if you're not careful. And you also have to make sure he doesn't drop right on top of you. Tarisuman's spacing being very good right here. Oh, unfortunately taking a hit right at the end, but should still be okay on HP here.
あのねもう運ゲーですここもまたはいこの先折り返して2段目に登ったところに落ちてくるゴミが
One last lava area because we do have Flame Mammoth coming up. He's going to be our last refight here. The territorial power is really, really good for this fight, but it does cause a lot of invulnerability frames, so we do have to be careful of our movement and spacing around him so that we don't accidentally touch him while we're waiting to hit him again. We also didn't really get to see a lava area since the factory was frozen off during this run, so it's cool that we get to see the lava.
近づいてパンチを連続で当てていきましょうで右側のゲートで終わりたいからこのベルトコンベア逆方向やってほしくないんですけれど
Just gonna kind of punch him right here.
さあここはパンチを当て
Probably
て
get the last hit right here. Okay, I guess we just went for punches altogether.
さあそうしましたら次ですねいよいよラスボス X&0 でございます
Alright, so one last hallway before we get to Vile's final fight of the run. This also packed with enemies here. We're just going to try and damage boost through. We got a bunch of health, thankfully. And we do have sub-tanks in reserve. So Tarisuman should be pretty safe at this point.
なので体力調整をしてこれを X に打たせます。
So the final boss for Vile right here, we're actually going to fight X and Zero together, tag team style. Just a pretty neat fight.
ゼロになった瞬間がタイムストップでございます。さあまずはゼロですね。パンチを一発当て
So
まして
this is scary because they do a bunch of damage. The Parasite Sword can block some projectiles here and there, but the most dangerous is when they tag team Buster Shots together. And we're going to try and abuse Parasite Sword as needed to either block the shots or hover in midair.
あー、クロスアック入っちゃった。これが長いん
So
です。
here's the hover.
難しいのでしっかりと
Very, very, very well timed. It's such a good strat.
さあそしてですね、ここで X は倒しきりになりますかね。その前にしっかりと
Running a little low on health here, so we're going to use a sub tank for safety.
ロケ
Not
ッ
a
ト
big
パンチ
deal.
を当てて、これはあれかな、ため攻
Should
撃
be able to just punch X in the face to death.
その後に結構体力残ってるな。もう一回発動されちゃった。
Oh, they're doing another Buster Shot. Wasting all this time. So they both have to be taken down individually, but once we punch X in the face, that'll be time. And that's time.
Nice. Well done, well done.
Very well done. Yeah, 100% for VAVA hard. Tough category. Getting sub 48 marathon's pretty solid. It's a good run.
39分41秒ですね。まずタイ
I
ムに
did
つい
watch
てちょっとお話を
a few practice runs, and yeah, the final fight does look very terrifying.
仕事がなんか4回か3回ぐらい
あります。
多分それがなかったら目標タイム
No, Boba Fett, why would you do that?
特にパーチって
He's so mean, even when he's not in Star Wars.
エスケープを選択したところが多分分かれ目だったんじゃないかな
So, like I said, this is just a non-canon story. So Vile gets to have his time of day, and then we'll pay him back in just a bit, we'll say.
そのね、こういったんですけど、しょうもないミスも置いといて、
But that is, like I said, that is Mega Man Maverick Hunter X, Vile Hard 100%. I hope y'all enjoyed this run. I hope y'all enjoyed the commentary over it.
ですねまあ
But we should definitely stick around for the next run because we do have Mega Man X3 coming up in just a bit, which will also be just as exciting.
面白いんでね
Yep, Mega Man X3, 80% this time, not 100% by Pencil.
こういうスピンオフシリーズ全然移植されてないのでその
Because they're playing out also the little cutscene until the very end.
いろいろまあロックマンの最新作も出るみたいなんでこういった
Did you also learn this game, or did you play casually?
No, I've just played X3 very casually, but I'm familiar enough with that run.
でね、今回ね、イレギュラーハンター
Same
X
for Maverick Hunter?
No, for Maverick Hunter X, I think the last time I played it at all was well over 15 years ago because I don't have a PSP of my own.
限られてるんですが、ぜひね、
But it is a really cool remake. Definitely worth checking out if you want something a little different. And it has some nice extra goodies. So definitely something
ということで、これ
worth
で終わりにしましょうか。
checking out at some
は
point.
い。ということでですね、はい、これにて、イレギュラーハンター X、ババ、ハー
Definitely, if it ever comes back on another bundle on Steam, if they decide to do so. Right, while we are transitioning for Mega Man X3, we'll be taking a little break on our end. Both me and ZELLLOOO will be back very soon.